stop trying to figure it out. The pieces will put themselves together as you witness them and hold space for them to do so. Let me think. Observe, note, and follow the path that unfolds in front of you as those pieces are putting themselves together. Because they're going to do it on their own. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is witness. And then, as you're witnessing, you'll be naturally guided to take action. And so, yeah, anyway, that is a message that I received this morning, just boom, downloaded as I was grabbing my coat to head out the door to work. So it came in the light of me personally trying to figure things out. And so that was some really nice guidance there from Spirit. So what this video is going to be about is witnessing, and how I have witnessed personally in the past week pieces putting themselves together for me and the path that is unfolding. And I share this information as an example for anyone who is experiencing the same types of guidance or wanting to open up to the same type of guidance. The more examples we have and the more we share with each other, the grander, the more expanded it all becomes. Okay, so I have started, well, I'm in a lot of groups. I know I talk about that a lot. So one of the things that I've started is a program called Multidimensional Soul Integration, and that's a modality. So I'd not heard of this modality. I'd not practiced this modality. I didn't know what the modality was necessarily about, but I was guided to join the cohort for this spring in the modality. That was a piece of a puzzle that set itself right in front of me. It's a feeling you get inside of you, like not a feeling of I have to do this. If I don't do this, I'm going to miss out on an opportunity or something like that. It was a feeling like I really want to know more about this. I really want to understand this more. Or a feeling of I wonder what that's about. I'm feeling called to it. I'm trying to think of other ways that it may come through for people. Those are kind of how they naturally come through for me. Or maybe I kept hearing about it in different ways, different, not necessarily from like advertisements that track you on your phone and give you exactly about the things you've been searching, but more in ways like in everyday life. I hear somebody talk about an integration or something about soul. It's just different in different ways. It was in my field. It kept coming around, kept being more and more drawn to it. Little lights shine on things. Like sometimes if you're reading a book, you may naturally feel drawn to a sentence and you want to highlight it. So little things like that. So I've started this multidimensional soul integration cohort, and I'm learning that what it is about is allowing aspects of your soul that are healed and have been through it and are at peace. It's based on the concept that we all have different soul aspects, right? And we have a lot of facets as humans, and there's different parts of us. There's different personas. There's inner child, there's ego, there's divine feminine and masculine, and lower feminine and masculine. So of all these different parts, some of them have really gone through and practiced a lot of the life experiences, and they've grown, they've expanded, they've ascended, and they are at the point where they are, so to speak, healed. There are other parts of us that have gone through a lot of trauma. And I will say that one of the things that JJ, who leads Multidimensional Soul Integration, JJ Brighton, one of the things she talks about is that Multidimensional Soul Integration, the program, the modality, is not about integrating and healing the trauma parts of us. It's about integrating the parts of us that are already healed and ready to be fully embodied. And so I think that's an important component of it that I've been learning too. So we've done one of the groups, and during that group, a part of me that was integrated, or the soul aspect of me that was integrated, came to me. It came forward, and it can look like anything. You don't know what it's gonna look like, right? You don't know what to expect necessarily. Mine came forward as a mantis with alien eyes. That keeps coming into my field too. I did not expect it at that time. I had an experience a month or two ago, probably a month ago, with a mantis being a guide in my dream, or not a dream, in a meditation with alien eyes, and I loved that. It was great. You know, I got a message from it, and then I kind of forgot about it. But when I was doing my first session of MSI, multidimensional soul integration, that is what came forth. It was this mantis again with the big eyes, but it had butterfly wings. So there was a lot of elemental energy with that, and there was also galactic energy, mostly elemental. And as it integrated in through my sacral chakra. But initially, so as you're sensing where it wants to integrate in your body, I was initially sensing it over on the lower left abdomen. And as I witnessed that, as I focused my attention on that, it developed into the sacral chakra area. So kind of enveloped that whole lower area, and the soul aspect turned into a mist and integrated into the sacral chakra. And over the next several days, I noticed a lot of opening in my field, a lot of space in my field. I noticed a lot of things just coming to me. I mean, we have intuition, right, where things can just come to us, but it felt far expanded than what I have experienced so far. Just feeling very present and having a knowing of whatever subject was being talked about, like not like a walking encyclopedia or anything, but just somebody would say something and I'm like, what about this? Or could you try this? You know, things like that. I've always been a troubleshooter with things, and it feels like that has opened up more. And I was talking to my husband on our walk this past Monday night about that. Like, wow, I just feel good. I just feel good. I just feel like I'm knowing things, and I'm not worried about things. And one of the things that I noted later in the week was JJ, actually, she has a podcast, Activations with JJ. She had talked about the feeling of tranquility. And when she said that word, I was immediately able to identify that as, that's how I was feeling. That's how I was feeling. I was feeling tranquil. Well, later on in our walk that night, after I had talked about how I was feeling, and that was a piece, that was a puzzle piece for me. So the mantis, elemental, that's a puzzle piece. The feeling of tranquility is a puzzle piece. This puzzle's coming together, and it's giving me a clearer picture of what is being laid out in front of me for my path. So later on into our walk, I started to get a cramp in my stomach. I don't get stomach cramps. I used to have a lot of stomach problems, and I had come a long way in healing that. And it's been a long time since I've had stomach problems. So cramp in my stomach, and I've had cramps in my stomach for the past several days now, usually in the evening. Actually, this morning, though, I have them in my stomach this morning too. And I was listening to a message from JJ this morning in relation to our multidimensional soul integration group. And she was talking about how to continue to focus on, because we'll listen to the replays of the first group that we had. And she said, when you're listening to the replays, don't necessarily integrate a new aspect with the replay, but focus on deepening and further integrating the aspect that did come through. And when she said that, I had, again, it was highlighted for me, like a light was shined on it. it was a knowing, that a feeling in my body like, oh, that's why I'm having these stomach cramps. And yeah, they're actually right in that area that originally came to light for me, where the aspect wanted to integrate. So that's another puzzle piece. So next time I listen to the playback, I will focus on integrating, and actually just having it in my awareness now is helping to integrate it too. So that's a puzzle piece. I'm also listening to a YouTube video that's a couple hours long. So I've been listening to it intermittently on my way to and from work. As I work through it, the speaker in it, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it, that you listen to it. And I shared it on my last video, but I'll share it in this video too, the link for it in YouTube. But I highly recommend it. The gentleman has a shit ton of knowledge on energy and sacred geometry and patterns and all of that. And he was talking this morning about cymatics. And if you're not familiar with cymatics, I might not do it justice to describe it, but here's my limited knowledge on it. The vibration of sound creates patterns. And like if you've ever seen, and you can see it on YouTube, somebody has a vibration plate and they put sand on it, and depending on what frequency, what sound they run into that plate, it creates a different pattern, and the sand will sift out into the pattern. So oh, and you've probably heard of frequency healing too. And if you go on Spotify or YouTube or on the internet, anywhere, you can type in different hertz sounds to get different frequencies to help healing. So this morning when I'm listening to it, this gentleman's talking about it at first in relation to cancer and thoughts, and how thoughts can create different frequencies and patterns, and how they can see the different patterns in cancer cells versus healthy cells, and how cymatics can work with those vibrations and things. But the thing that lit up for me this morning as he talked about it was that so that's one sound, right? One sound creates a specific pattern in the sand. He talks about when they stack the sounds, or when they integrate or do several sounds together, the sand will actually come up and create like stacks and lines and start to look like a being moving back and forth. And I'm like, holy crap, that is so cool. And what came to me again is using cymatics to help integrate my soul aspect that is integrating. So many different, oh, and I forgot a really fun one. Okay, so before I heard that on the YouTube thing, I was still listening to it, but a car came up behind me on the 2-lane, or it's 4 lanes, right? 2 cars, we get to drive side by side. I never know how to describe that. Anyway, a car came up behind me pretty quickly, passed me, and I thought, wow, they're really in a hurry. They were going like 80 miles an hour because I was doing 75. And they passed me, and the license plate was gut. The letters on the license plate were gut, and I have never seen that on a license plate. So I'm like, oh, there's another puzzle piece just putting itself right in place in front of me. And even more interesting was that no sooner had they passed me than they took the off ramp. Like, okay, they clearly were giving me a message, because why else would they need to pass, whatever. That message was meant for me. Otherwise, they wouldn't necessarily have had to pass me going that fast just so they could get off on the off ramp. Oh, goodness. Okay, so a lot of puzzle pieces. The intent was to share guidance that comes into my awareness and how it all fits into the puzzle pieces in front of me. There were some other things he talked about too that caused me to think about The Matrix, right? So there's the movie The Matrix, and I've only seen the first one. But he talked about sacred geometry, he talked about the Matrix. Everything is built on patterns, which are geometric patterns and whatnot. And it caused me another piece to drop in that question, actually, and I think I'll probably ask it in the records, in the Akashic records. So, we have the matrix, so humans created much of what we see, and I'm wondering, or what's trying to work its way through, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to share it here, because the puzzle pieces will fall in place in front of me. Is okay, so then is Earth and the cosmos and everything, that's the divine matrix, and then stuff like buildings, cars, and whatnot, is that a human matrix? And how do they jive? And yeah, I don't know, there's something there, and it'll come through, I'm sure, and I'll create a video about it. And boom, there it'll be. So anyway, take care, guys. Bye.